Hi, everybody. I'm Angela Almquist. I'm a nursing student at Endicott College. I'm in my senior year, so I'm going to be graduating this May, and go on to be a registered nurse.
Okay, so obviously Endicott, like many other schools, switched to online kind of abruptly. For nursing, did that have a big impact on you guys with clinicals and whatnot?
It did. Unfortunately, we were no longer able to work in the hospitals for our clinical, so they transitioned to online simulations, which via Zoom, which is fine, but it's definitely not the same hands-on experience as we would be getting in the hospital. However, it does account for clinical hours that were needed to graduate to become an RN.
So what you mean by clinicals is are clinicals only for senior students or when do clinicals start?
No, so clinicals start usually like second semester, sophomore year, depending on the school, it varies. It's basically you you're in a group of nursing students and you have one instructor and you are assigned to a specific unit based on where you are in nursing school. For example, our clinical this past semester before it got cut off due to COVID, um, we were in the ICU unit. So, and it aligned with our class that's on ICU nursing. So, you have a course in class and you have a clinical that come together to complete the course. So, for example, the class and clinical together are 8 credits, so it's worth a little bit more because you're getting the hours that you need to graduate as a nurse, and you're also getting the in-class experience as well. And they're usually once a week, 9 hour, 8 to 9 hour shifts, and you work in a group and you're supervised by a nursing instructor.
So do you think that the clinical switching to online is going to have more of an impact on some of the younger students since you're already a senior? You've been doing clinicals, but how do you think that's going to affect some of the younger students?
I definitely think it will impact them, like negatively impact them because, like you said, I'm already a senior. I've had the clinical experience. Also, at this point, I know many people in nursing school do work as CNAs in the hospital, so we're kind of more well-rounded, I guess. And with being younger, I think it would be more of an issue because that's when you're really looking to get that experience before transitioning into working in a hospital or getting ready for to become a nurse. You need that experience. And I think that without that, you're kind of lacking a little bit of experience. So for me, it definitely was still a loss for us, but I would say that since we kind of we're at the last step, we don't really need the basic skills. We know how to interact with the patient. We know how to do the basic stuff that we can do to transition into becoming a registered nurse. So I definitely think it's tougher on the younger students.
Yeah, of course. And when this first came out, when Governor Charlie Baker announced that you guys would be able to practice, how did your professors react to that initially? And also, how did you and your classmates react to that?
So hearing that at first, I was kind of shocked because I just didn't really expect for that to ever happen. The professors were super supportive. They notified us with an email. That's actually how I found out. And they were, like I said, they were very supportive. They wanted to help connect us with hospitals that were looking to hire new grad nurses. That's what we would be working as. So we would be working without the licensure of an RN, but we would still be working underneath the supervision of a registered nurse. So everything that I would do practicing as a new graduate nurse, I would be signed off on by a registered nurse. So I wouldn't technically be practicing independently, but still, it and I'm pretty sure you get paid as a new grad nurse, and then once you take your boards exam, the NCLEX, that is when you're able to work as your own independent self as a registered nurse and get paid what other registered nurses get paid. So it's kind of like one step before registered nurse, in between a student and a registered nurse, like that kind of middle step. Um,
So that's what you guys are going to be
that's
considered
what we're
as
able
right now?
to, yep, today. And they notified us that we are able to start May 23rd. We can start working because that's when our school is completely done. So we'll be prepared other than the NCLEX boards exam. We'll have finished nursing school, technically graduated, just that kind of holding period until we take the NCLEX exam. That's when we're able to work. And then when we do take the NCLEX exam, we're a registered nurse, we're paid as a registered nurse, and we're working without the supervision. We're not no longer a new graduate nurse after the board's exam.
So if Governor Charlie Baker didn't put out this order to allow you guys to work, what would the process kind of look like for you right now as almost
Mm-hmm.
graduating?
So coming towards the end of school, I'm finishing on May 15th. Our scheduled graduation was supposed to be May 23rd. So after that, our professors um, advised us to take 2 weeks off, just enjoy the graduation, enjoy having no school being done, kind of just our own personal time. Then after that, 2 weeks, we would take about 4 to 6 weeks to study for the NCLEX exam. So this would bring us to beginning of July, mid July, um, even end of July. Whenever everyone's on their own studying track, so whenever you personally feel ready, that's when you can take the exam. So if this was not all going on, I would finish school, take the time to myself, those 2 weeks, study 4 to 6 weeks. I originally planned to take the exam around 4th of July, like right after that. However, obviously, this is all going on. So testing centers have been closed for a while now. That pushes us back. The students that graduated who were supposed to take the test in July are now going to be pushed back until there are open and available dates because people were also waiting to take the exam while we were still in school. But obviously, COVID happened and exam centers are closed right now. So it's kind of a waiting game. If this wasn't all going on, I would probably have a more structured plan because we would still be in physical school working with the teachers. Like everything's online now, it's a little bit more unclear, and obviously it's a waiting game. I don't know when the testing center is going to be open. I don't know when I'm going to get a date to take my test. So it's really fortunate that if I do get a job before taking the NCLEX, I'm able to work as a registered nurse under supervision of a registered nurse. I can work as a new graduate nurse.
Would
So
it be like that? Sorry, just a quick clarification, but would it be like that if this order wasn't in place?
no. So if this order wasn't in place, I would need to wait until I took my board's exam in, say, July, and then I could work as a registered nurse. I would not be able to work as a nurse in the hospital without the board's exam if all of this wasn't going on. So that is a
Okay.
great opportunity because now I don't feel so much pressure to rush and take the exam because I know I'm still going to be able to get the nursing experience that would be able to get without the pandemic going on.
And once this whole pandemic is over, do you think that you're going to want to stick in the medical field as a registered nurse in the hospital, or do you think this kind of changed your view on things a little bit?
So it definitely changed my view, but however, in like a positive way because you see everybody um, thanking the first line heroes, as everybody calls them, in the medical field, and that's a great feeling. It kind of shows how important our jobs really are. So it really makes me want to get in there as soon as possible, and that's another great reason why the Governor Baker's, um, you know, rule of letting us work as new graduate nurses. That's super beneficial. So I definitely want to go into the hospital right after graduation, or the whatever date possible that I can get in there. I want to start working as a nurse in the hospital. I want to have the experience, even if it's just a year or two, just to get in there, seeing how important the jobs really are and how much everyone in the medical field is appreciated. It really has motivated me to just get out there as soon as I can.
That was going to be one of our next questions. What gets you up to be motivated to go work in clinical fresh from graduation? But I think you just kind of hit that
Yeah,
with what you said.
definitely. Just
So
seeing everybody as heroes is really powerful. And I think that for a lot of people, I know I've been talking to my friends, they're all excited to just be in there. And yeah, there are dangers, there are risks, but that's what we're signing up for. We want to help. We want to be the first line react.
yeah,
Like,
I remember you talking about before, I mean, I'm sure you still want to do this, but before you were talking more about like wanting to go into like cosmetology and
yep.
maybe Botox type of work with your
Mhm.
nursing degree. So
Yes.
it's interesting to see how now, because of COVID, you're changing more towards the medical
Right.
side.
Exactly. Like, and that is still one of my goals. And I, this time right now also is an opportunity for me to focus on that as well. So I'm going to try to find a way to balance both, see what opportunities come to me because, like I said, it's kind of an unstructured plan. I don't know when my test date is going to be. I don't know where I'm going to go in to start working as a new graduate nurse before I take my boards exam. It's kind of all a waiting game and taking opportunities as they come, staying updated with um, our professors at school that have been really supportive in trying to find us jobs and connect us with people that they know at hospitals to get us in there as soon as possible.
Awesome. Alex, do you have anything to add in or ask?
Yeah, do you have any specific hospitals that you want to work at, or is it just like whoever takes you?
So I actually work at Brigham and Women's Hospital right now as a CNA. So that's, and I love that hospital. I love working there. I love my job right now. And I really hope that an opportunity arises there. I have been in contact with my boss and it's tough right now because she's focusing on our floor that I work on. That I work in the recovery unit after surgery, the post anesthesia care unit. So a lot is going on there. So again, I'm kind of just waiting. I really, my main focus right now is getting through school and I want to finish my degree and at the same time keep eyes out for jobs, hoping that Brigham and Women's will be my first place that I work at. That's definitely my top choice.
Nice. And lastly, do you have any
Awesome.
like final words or final thoughts that you want to share with us?
Well, just as everybody is struggling through this time, it's hard for everybody in their own way, and I know that for nurses, fortunately, um, they're the ones that are helping this problem right now. So it's not hurting my experience with finding a job. It's actually they're more in need for new graduate nurses, and I'm just really thankful for the opportunity that I'm going to be able to go into the hospital before actually being a real nurse, passing the boards exam. So it's really exciting.